with Trump's 25% auto and auto parts tariff, the stock market is now down quite a bit. Here's a heat map showing the 3-month performance of ETFs. If we look at the tech sector right now, XLK, the Technology Select Sector ETF, is down almost 15%. Vanguard Information Tech is down 15.81%. Both of these are very aggressive tech ETFs. And there's another one here. This one is down 47%, but this is a leveraged tech ETF. And the iShares Semiconductor ETF's down 15.67%. Now the regular S&P 500 is down only about 7.6%. If we look at the inverse ETFs, the 3 times inverse is up 37% right now, quite a bit. Now, one thing that's a bit surprising, I'm surprised that financials are not down more. Usually, financials get hit hard when the stocks start going down. But the XLF Financial Select Sector is actually up 0.23%. If we look at the Vanguard Financials ETF, it's down only 1.66%. Regional Banking ETF down about 8%. But when we start looking at consumer cyclicals, XLY, Consumer Discretionary Select Sector, down 16%. I believe this one is heavily invested in Amazon, which is down quite a bit. Also, the retail ETF down about 15%. Now, energy is actually doing well, up around 9%. Most of these are up 4%, 6%. Real estate's okay. Healthcare is doing all right. Healthcare is not impacted much. Also, utilities. Utilities are holding up. 2% up for the utility select sector. Consumer staples up 1.1%. When we look at growth, the iShares Russell 1000 growth down 13%. VUG, Vanguard Growth ETF down 13%. Value's been holding up, down only about 0.64%. Vanguard Value ETF down only 0.3%. Small cap is also down quite a bit. The iShares S&P small cap down 11%. Most of these are down around 10%. Now, ones that are actually holding up really well are the dividend ETFs. The Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF down only 0.15%. Most of these are down only about 1% or so. If we look at the S&P 500 stocks, we see that the big stocks like Nvidia down 21%, Microsoft down 14%, Apple down about 15%, Amazon's down 16%, Tesla down 46%, Google down 20%, Meta's only down 5% though. Even tech stocks like Salesforce down 21%, Adobe down 13%, Uber's actually up 17%. I'm guessing if people can't afford to buy cars, maybe they're going to be taking Ubers. And surprisingly, financials, Visa, which I would think would be down, is up 7%. MasterCard up 1.26%. American Express down 12%. PayPal down 26%. I would have thought this would have done much worse. The same with banks. JP Morgan down only 0.08%. Bank of America down 7%. Most of these are not down that much. And surprisingly, Berkshire Hathaway is actually up 14.6%. And one that's doing really well, surprisingly, is insurance. Progressive is up 16%. Allstate up 4%. So insurance is doing pretty well. Even when we look at insurance brokers, it's pretty well. Healthcare is doing okay. Telecom's doing surprisingly well. AT&T is up 22%. T-Mobile 19%. Even Verizon's up 13%. Another one that surprised me is the auto parts. I would think auto parts would be down. O'Reilly Automotive's up 16%. AutoZone is up around 15%. Now, I guess the idea is that people can't afford to buy new cars. They're going to be buying their parts from AutoZone and O'Reilly and just fixing up old cars. But the 25% tariff applies to auto parts too. So the parts that people buy are going to be that much more expensive. So I think a lot of people are going to be holding off on doing repairs, especially unnecessary ones. Now, Nike and some shoemakers down almost 20% for Nike and some of the shoemakers. Tobacco's doing well. Philip Morris International up 25%. That's surprising. Mondelez up 12%. Hershey's is only down 0.29. Utilities doing very well. Utilities still holding up very well. Most of these are up around 10% or so. Oil and gas doing well. around 10% for most oil and gas stocks. But home builder stocks are not doing so well. We look at DR Horton, home builder, Lennar down 13, Lennar's down almost 14%. Also, consumer cyclical, lodging, hotel stocks, Marriott down 17%, Hilton down 11%, Airbnb down 11%, bookings down 9%. Drug manufacturers are still doing well. Eli Lilly up 3%, AbbVie up 14%, Amgen up 16%. So this isn't across the board. Some industries are doing better than others because of these tariffs. So it's interesting seeing which ones are doing better than others. So what do you guys think? So is it time to invest? Would you guys start investing in tech stocks? Because it's starting to get down to where I'm thinking it's not the bottom yet probably, but I may start buying some more tech stocks. So feel free to comment below.